Hi, Amy Schultz here with Secure Kids and Parents. I am a parent coach and I have a question for you today. Let's say your child calls you a jerk or something worse and you feel mad. Who is responsible for your feeling of mad? I want to explore this question today and also give you a communication tip for talking to your kids authentically about your emotional experience. On Monday, my child called me a jerk, and I felt sad, offended, disappointed, hurt, angry, maybe a couple of those, maybe all of them. Maybe I felt afraid. On Wednesday, my child called me a jerk, and I felt slightly annoyed, but generally peaceful and happy. Why? Why is my emotional response so different for the exact same behavior, the exact same scenario? Now, it could be due to thoughts. Maybe on Monday, I thought something like, this isn't okay, or he's so ungrateful, or what if he says that or worse to kids at school or to his friends, or I didn't do anything wrong. Wednesday's thoughts might have been something like, wow, I don't like that. This poor kiddo is tired, or oh, we can figure this out. Or, wow, it's been a while since he called me that. He's actually been doing so much better. You can see that the thoughts that I'm having are going to impact my emotional experience. There might be other external factors. On Monday, maybe I read a difficult news article that kind of set me off emotionally. Maybe I had a headache and very little sleep from the night before. Maybe I was in the middle of making dinner. On Wednesday, maybe I just got home from an outing with a friend, was feeling like generally well and good in my body. And perhaps I had a great morning with my child where we connected and had a good time and the relationship had been feeling great. So if I'm feeling this anger, sadness, all of these like frustration on this side, or generally peaceful, maybe some slight annoyance on this side, which one is better? Which one's a better way to feel in response to that scenario? Now, I would say neither is better. Both are fine and both are not a problem. It's up to you. So I can choose to use a consequence or respond to the behavior with some sort of boundary. I'm responsible for that if I want to do that. And I can also feel whatever way about it. So as we're talking about this, I'm not addressing what happens if you do want to have a consequence. I'm simply going to be talking about emotions and how we're communicating them. Generally, if I'm on this side and I'm trying to find some justification for it, honestly, if somebody calls me from my world, if somebody calls me a name, a swear word, or names when they're mad, I don't like it. It's disconnecting. It negatively impacts my relationship with them, and I probably won't want to spend much time with them. I don't necessarily want to override those feelings if my child is doing the same thing. I think that's a healthy response, right? To feel annoyed, to feel frustrated, to feel those things, that's fine if someone's calling me a name. There's no problem. That's a healthy response. Now, to feel peaceful and understand the perspective and the context and kind of just not feeling too distressed about it, that's fine too. There's no issue with that in response to that behavior. Neither is better, and they both teach me something and they can both lead to positive outcomes. Let's figure out what language I can use to describe my experience that's going to be the most effective. I might say something like, you are making me so mad, or you're making me sad. I might say something like, you are being so rude, or you're being annoying, or you're being disrespectful. In those first two examples, I'm telling them you are in charge of how I feel. You are responsible for my emotional world. You are making me feel a certain way. Now, that language is fine to use here and there. It's also when this becomes a regular way of talking, and then the behavior that backs it up and the way we see the behavior as it's making you feel something, that's when it becomes a problem. Those last three examples are examples of me pointing my finger and saying, you are a problem. You, right? It's a disconnecting way to talk to someone. We don't like our fingers being pointed at us. So another way I can choose to respond would be, I feel mad when you call me names, or I feel sad when you call me names. I am saying my experience right now is this. Even though I'm responsible for my own emotions, other people's behavior does impact how I feel. So when I tell them I am feeling this when this external thing is happening, I feel sad when I read a sad news story. I feel frustrated when you call me names. I feel annoyed when you ask me things over and over when I've already answered them. It teaches them the impact of their behavior, in a context of them understanding the impact from other things as well. So it's so helpful for them to know, how often are we talking to our kids like that? I know in the past I've used a lot of language around go to your room. You did something naughty, go to your room. You did something naughty, here's the consequence. You did something naughty, I'm going to tell you why you're a problem. They're sometimes still going to feel bad. They're sometimes going to still feel shame. Sometimes they are not going to care. And I still want to show up telling them what the impact is. So you can also juice this up by on the way to school, in the car, or at family dinner, or in whatever moment randomly throughout the day. Every once in a while, checking in and saying, hey, who's responsible for my emotions? Me. Remember the other day when I got mad because this is what you did? Yeah, I was responsible for my own feeling of anger. And your behavior did have impact on me, right? But I was responsible for that. Who is in charge of mom's emotional world? Mom. So you can remind them of that every once in a while, and you can have discussions about this. The truth is they're in charge of their emotional world as well. I'm going to be having a part 2 linked below. And they learn from you modeling this. So what do you think prevents us from talking like this with our children? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What problems do you see about maybe talking like this to our children? When I separate my emotional world from my child's, I have a better connection. So we're often squished together in our emotional world, but when I separate it and when I say, this is my experience right now, I have a better connection to them. They learn how to communicate well from watching me. They understand the impact of their behavior on me and others. They learn how to take responsibility for their own emotions because I'm showing them how to do that. So the action items, the challenge from this video would be to speak with I feel blank statements with your children in moments of conflict, or even when things are going well. You can say, I'm feeling happy right now. This is fun, right? The second part is to have ongoing conversations with them about you being responsible for your own emotions. You can tag in them being responsible for theirs as well, but have that be an ongoing thing. So I hope that's helpful. Bless you all for being here. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.